Hey everyone, it's Cayley. I'm going to be taking a look back at last year, some of the goals that I set for myself and whether or not I achieved them, as well as talk about my goals for 2022. I'm trying really hard not to have really long intros, so let's just dive right in. So my goals last year for 2021, I made a whole video about it. If you're interested, I will link that up above. It is my 2021 goals. I made that in the very beginning of the year before lots of things happened, and so I actually did not meet most of my goals last year that I had set for myself. Some things have changed, some things really got in the way and were really big hurdles for me, and then other things I just was lazy about. So we're going to talk about all of those today. One of my biggest accomplishments in 2021 was a goal I had set for myself at the beginning of the year, which was I really wanted to hire an e-commerce manager to help me run my business and take over a lot of the tasks that I was currently doing. Most of you guys know I hired Nikki. You guys have seen her in a lot of videos. She has been an absolute game changer in the business, and I am so thankful that I chose to take that step pretty early on and get her involved in the business because it has made a tremendous difference on sales and my sanity. Nikki is a full-time W-2 employee currently. She manages pretty much everything. She knows everything about the business, and currently she's really focused on training and developing the people that we currently have helping us, as well as future potential employees. So that's one goal I can check off and say that I really met. Looking back, I really didn't intend on hiring a manager early on in the year, but I came to a point in my life where I just absolutely had no time to grow this business, and so I ended up hiring her a lot sooner than I thought I would out of necessity, but I'm really glad that I did because now I'm a lot further along by taking that chance and by taking that risk and getting her involved a lot sooner. Another goal I had set for myself was to start learning hard goods, and I gave myself a little task at the beginning of every single thrift trip to go to the hard goods section, like the kitchen, the electronics, stuff like that, and just spend a good solid 10 minutes there to start learning and researching some of the brands. I did do that in the beginning of the year. However, after listening to some resellers that I really look up to who are way more successful than me, and some that I admire and would like to get to their level at some point, all of them said the same thing, which was that you really need to niche down and become an expert in one category before moving and branching onto the next. And so because of that, I decided to nix hard goods. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if I happened to come across one that was just directly in my path and I knew that it was super valuable, I did pick it up. But I did not force myself to go to the hard goods section and spend time there to learn hard goods. That is not something that I would say that I'm never going to do, but it's just something that, again, I want to make sure that I really master the categories that I'm in before adding another category onto my plate. By categories, right now I'm in the men's, women's, and kids clothing category, as well as accessories and shoes. And so even within that, I still feel like I need to niche down into certain categories, like pick jackets or pick jeans and really master those before adding more on. Some people might disagree with that, but that's where I'm at in my business. Another thing I really focused on in that video was creating a schedule for myself and sticking to it. In the beginning, when I started full-time reselling, I just kind of did things when I had time. I got out of bed late. I didn't have a set wake up time because I thought I'm my own boss now. I should be able to get up when I want. And that really created a bleed over from my personal life and my work life, and the two were intermixed, and it just really wasn't good. So in the beginning of 2021, I really did set a schedule and I really did stick to it. And so that kind of happened. The things that I talked about in that video were I wanted certain days of the week to be for certain things, and some of those goals, the micro goals, did not happen, but overall in general I did pick a schedule and I stuck to it. Right now I currently only work 40 hours a week. I do take 2 days off 99% of the time, and I'm working 8 to 4 pretty much every single day. Having a cutoff time has really helped with my mental health and, again, reducing bleed over from work and personal life. I do have ideas on what I want my schedule to look like and have more structured days and days that are set for certain things. But for right now, just having the hours set 8 to 4 and then 2 days off has been really beneficial. One of the things I really focused on in that video was within that schedule, making time for myself and making sure that I took personal time. And while I'm not taking, a ton of personal time or having one set day for that. I most definitely have taken time off, and with the help of Nikki, the manager I spoke about in the beginning of this video, she's been able to cover when I've gone on vacation, had other work trips, or just needed a day off. And I really would not be able to do that without somebody to take my place while I was gone. So although I don't have a set day for me time, I have been taking days off and actually done quite a bit of traveling considering what's going on in the world. At the beginning of last year, one of my mottos was full-time income, part-time hours. And I still want that to be the case. I mean, obviously we all want to make a full-time income by working half as hard, but my ideas on that have changed a little bit. And so, you know, I got an office, I hired a manager, and you know, that manager had to be trained, the office had to be set, and a lot of things have to happen in order to make all of those things run in the background. Whenever you hire someone or make a new step in your business, there really is a lot of time involved, usually years before you are back on track to where you feel you can really step away. And so I'm in that period right now where I am training, I am growing. And so at this point in time, I am working more full-time hours versus the part-time that I was aiming for in the past. So, change of scenery. I'm at my house now because life never goes according to plan. Let's finish this video. So one of the other goals I had set for myself was practicing sourcing online. And I will say that that is another one that I could probably check off because I actually did do quite a bit of online sourcing this year and dipped my toes in a little bit further and figured out some strategies and some places that I could online source. It's definitely not something that I do every week, but when we are, I guess, running a little bit behind and I'm feeling the pressure on the amount of items that I need to source, that's typically when I'll hop online and look for some online sourcing options. So I do feel like I did a pretty decent job of that this year. And like I said, it was nothing on a large scale, and I'm definitely not doing liquidation or wholesale, but just as far as online sourcing on other reselling sites and even some retail arbitrage, I feel like I did a pretty good job of that this year as far as learning. One of my other goals last year was a YouTube goal that I had set for myself. I would say last year was the year that I actually got consistent on YouTube and started putting out weekly videos. And since I've been consistent on YouTube, I have really seen tremendous growth on my channel. Last year, at the beginning of the year, I made a goal for myself to hit 10,000 subscribers. That goal did not happen. However, I got really close to it. And when I had, made that goal for myself, a lot of things happened in life. A lot of curveballs got thrown my way. I mentioned it in a couple of videos, but I had a house fire. And it has been almost a year since that house fire happened, and I am still dealing with the aftermath of that. And so when that happened, I actually took about a month off of YouTube, and I feel like that really derailed my consistency. Otherwise, I do think I would have definitely met that 10,000 subscriber goal. Another YouTube goal that I had was to focus more on vlogging. Vlogging wasn't something I'd really done up until that point, and you guys really liked it. And so this year, I have focused really hard on vlogging, doing a lot more work with me videos, and they are some of my most popular videos. There were a couple other more personal goals that I mentioned in that 2021 goals video. So if you want to go back and watch that to hear everything in detail, make sure to click on the link to that video. But now into the 2022 goals, which I am most excited about because I am ready to wipe this 2021 year away. On to the 2022 goals. I am so excited to start 2022. I'm ready for a fresh start and a new year. 2021 was one of the hardest years in my life, and yeah, I'm just ready for something new. My dogs are drinking and eating in the background. So 2022 goals, I really want to get a full-time employee to handle all of the office stuff that we do and basically teach that person to handle everything besides sourcing. That way, Nikki and I can be relieved to go do sourcing and bring more items into the office and therefore list more items. I've actually got something in the works with that, but one of my goals for 2022 is to get a full-time employee to handle all of that. That would include shipping, listing, photographing, answering customer questions and stuff like that. And then getting them fully trained to the point where they no longer need my help. And Nikki and I can be relieved to do some really good sourcing, whether that's picking up a higher quantity of items or higher quality. I did reach well over 6 figures in gross revenue in 2021, and I want to continue that trend in 2022. I don't have an exact number as to what I think my gross amount would be, but I would like to reach over $200,000 in gross revenue in 2022. Another goal I have in 2022 kind of ties into one of my 2021 goals, which is to continue learning online sourcing. Sourcing manually, I don't think that's the right word, sourcing in person on a consistent basis all the time really does take a toll on you. And I would like to get better, since I've been dabbling in online sourcing, to get to a point where 25% of our inventory coming in is from online sourcing. Meaning I go online, shop for it, and it gets shipped to the office. That would be amazing if that could happen. And I'll just quickly throw this out there because I know I'm going to get a lot of people asking this, but I do not intend on doing liquidation or any kind of bulk deals, I guess, where other resellers are getting the same kind of items in multiple quantities. They would be mainly on a one-off basis. So instead of hand selecting them at thrift stores, moving to 25% online sourcing, which means we are going to have to dedicate time at the office to really learn how to do that and figure out strategies that make it faster. The next goal I have set for myself is to continue mastering lists perfectly. And as you guys probably saw in previous videos, or if you didn't, I will link those up above. But we recently transitioned to listing on List Perfectly, which is a cross-posting tool, but you can also actually list on the List Perfectly website and then push your listings out to other platforms. Or if you want to use it in its traditional sense, you can cross-post from eBay to Poshmark, Poshmark to eBay, or whatever, and it moves the information and photos over for you. But this year, we transitioned to listing and starting every listing on List Perfectly. And I really feel like we've got a good grasp on it. We've become faster with it. We've figured out strategies that we like to use, and we're really loving using List Perfectly to host all of our drafts and our inventory. I would like to continue using that and doing some more of the features that I don't currently use just to make my business easier. Also using List Perfectly to cross-post onto another site. As mentioned in the beginning of this video, I really want to learn to master one thing before moving on to another. And at the beginning of last year, I was on a lot of platforms. Since then, because I knew I needed to niche down and really master one thing before moving on to another, we have consolidated to only listing on eBay and Poshmark, and I got rid of most things on the other platforms. If they were already listed, they're still up and they can sell, but we're just not listing anything new. In 2022, I could totally see us maybe halfway through the year adding another platform like Mercari, because I really have Poshmark and eBay down at this point. I do think that Mercari will be the one that we try to tackle next, or again, because they do have quite a few users on their platform, and I was seeing success on Mercari when I was consistently listing on there and making pretty good consistent sales. It's just that once again, I wanted to focus on eBay and Poshmark and really make sure that I completely understood both those platforms before moving on to another one. So I'm not saying it's a goal necessarily, but I could see us moving forward after I've completed all of these other goals into starting back onto Mercari in 2022. Moving on and finishing up with some of the social media goals that I have for this channel. I would really like to hit 15K subs. I think that's totally doable by the end of 2022. Hopefully more than that, but 15K is my benchmark. And while, like I said in the 2021 video, the amount of subs doesn't really matter. It's really about the views and who these videos are reaching out to. But it is a good metric to understand whether I'm doing it right or doing it wrong. So 15K subs is my goal, at least for 2022. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit those buttons down below. Something else I want to do on YouTube, and I don't know when we'll start this, but I do think I'll start in 2022, is we, meaning Nikki and I, want to start doing weekly live videos on YouTube where you guys can ask us questions and sort of a mentoring session, probably have a topic for each video, and then be able to answer your questions in live time. I asked you guys before on a poll who would be interested in that, and there were quite a few of you, and just know I haven't forgotten about it. It is still in the works. Also, speaking of weekly items on social media, I really need to get better about making weekly Instagram posts. I feel like I have learned to be pretty consistent on YouTube, but not so much on Instagram, and I know Instagram is another platform that you guys use to learn and to just connect. So part of my goals for 2022 is to make weekly Instagram posts. You might not even know that I'm on Instagram because I don't post as often as I should, but if you like to, you can follow me. It is the same handle as here on YouTube. And then lastly, and I'm putting this one last because I again don't know if it's going to happen in 2022, but I really want to create an eBay course for you guys and get that live and running. It's just that it takes so much time, and if I'm going to create a product for you guys to purchase and for you guys to use and learn from, I want to make sure that it is very valuable and you're getting your money's worth. I know a few of you have reached out to me about either a course or a mentorship, and I am hopefully working towards that towards the end of 22, but I'll keep you guys updated. No promises, but it is something that I really want to start working on. I feel like my goals this year have been a little bit looser. I'm not being as hard on myself this year because I made really tough goals for myself, really like rigid goals for myself in 2021. And as you can see, I did not meet even half of them. And that's just because things happened. Life got in the way. My mind changed on my business. I mean, I never thought I would get in office, and I got in office at the beginning of the year, shortly after making that video. So I am being less hard on myself this year and just kind of going with the flow. What happens, happens. I do intend obviously on growing the business, but as far as rigid goals, I do have dreams and I hope they happen in 2022, but if they don't, I'll move them on to the next year. I think that about wraps it up. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. Drop a comment down below with what your 2022 business and or personal goals are. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.